Well, what up, y'all? Hey, had to pop this off. We got War Hippies in the building. We brought Dave along because we a house full of vets. Why not? You already know it. Here. Happy 4th of July. Happy 4th of July.
Hell yeah, happy 4th of July.
Yeah, man. This is super cool. I love
America.
the event.
That's what I'm saying.
Happy America Day.
Happy America Day. Yeah, I love the event that we got going on down there. It's pretty cool. We did a full kids event, which is really different for us, especially since we're 21 and up. But everything we do is for the kids, right? So all of the cash and the profits that we make, we put back into the community and try to build up the kids. Yeah, we're building a kids lounge right here, right next to this lounge.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, it's 4,400 square foot. Jeez. And it's going to be something like $5. A kid comes in and it's like no parents, so I got like a parent zone and it has like TVs up so you could watch your kids on the camera wherever they're at. So it's like a full lounge for the kids.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we'll have like a little mocktail bar, and we have the arcade games, and they're all on free play. So you don't have to worry about getting the quarters and doing the full arcade. We'll have the pool tables with ESPN on the windows or on the walls and everything, and little movie rooms and PlayStation, awesome. Xbox. Yeah, there's really nothing to do. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And a lot of, so our future is the youth, man. We got to teach them some things, and show them some things. And it'd be cool because if we can get them into a good area, we could show them. That's kind of like what we do with the podcast. My plan for the podcast is to get more people, to get more of a platform. So I bring a lot of artists on here so that eventually we can start pushing off our message and our agenda. Absolutely. And that our biggest thing is steering kids away from drugs and alcohol and everything else, which is crazy because I like to drink. You know what I'm saying? I'll have a drink, but there's a difference. It's a gentleman's drink is different than
binge drinking and party drinking
and party drinking. If it's a fucking Wednesday night, you don't need to be slamming a fifth. You got work tomorrow, And there's a lot of things, So I think it'll be cool. We'll get to help them build job experience and business experience and give breakdowns on how things work and everything else, and at the same time get them into the public to where you're around other people and like-minded individuals start making other like-minded individuals the same, So if I could kind of get that message out and get people to focus on their life and opposed to just focusing on having tunnel vision and watching a lot of our age people are just strung the fuck out. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And all of them have kids.
Yeah.
And I know you guys know people that do dope and focus more on dope than they focus on their kids or focus on anything else,
On anything else in life.
Mm-hmm.
So that's their next thing.
Yeah.
Can't wait to get it.
They can't wait to get it. The grass is always greener.
They'll spend everything they have on it.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
It's unbelievable. I mean, I've seen people steal from their kids. I mean, I've seen them just be fully neglectful just for that reason, Yeah. And I mean, I wasn't the best growing up. I had a kid at 17, so when I was 19, 20, I wasn't being the best father. No 19 or 20-year-old is gonna be. We don't know what we're doing. Hell, I just learned how to fucking piss. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know what's going on in this world, but I think I do.
Yeah.
Right? But I'm watching other individuals, so depending on who I'm watching is who I'm gonna be. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. If I'm paying attention to this one person, that's why I'm huge with Jelly right now, and I'm loving everything that he's doing because he's shifting.
Yeah. He's an inspiration.
He's an inspiration.
He's shifting. If it doesn't make you cry,
you know what I'm saying?
You don't have a soul.
Right. Yeah, that's
real.
what I meant. Yeah. But we got a lot of veterans, and us as veterans, we like to sacrifice who we are for a greater good of somebody else. That's what we sign up for. That's what we do.
Yes.
So if I could put it back into it, I'm going to sacrifice what I can do to get it back to the youth so we can get them into a better position, because I don't want my kids hustling. I don't want my kids going down the path that I did. I want them to join the military and get the discipline and get that, service for your country, and I love it. I think it's super honorable, and I do it's like being a celebrity too. You walk through the airport with them ACUs on,
looking all fly. Somebody giving up their first class seat for you.
Somebody give you a first class seat.
Right. I've been there, dude. I was loving that. I appreciate you.
Somebody gave me one from Atlanta one time, and I was like, all right. I'm gonna got my legs crossed and read the paper.
Oh yeah, do the drinks. I'm running free drinks the whole time.
Sitting next to one of the officers who already had one.
Right.
But that is our biggest thing. So when you guys are out doing music and you guys are going and meeting people, greeting people, what do you guys push across?
I mean, I think that War Hippies in general is our general consensus is like that we're pro family, we're pro country, pro God. Yeah. I think that we have a lot of different messages, but one of our main pedestals that we try to raise up is veterans issues. And the one thing is, there's a song that I wrote about a promise that I made God when I was in Iraq. I said, man, if I get out of here alive, I swear I'm going to come back and try to be the best man I possibly can. And I didn't really realize what that was until I got back. And I was in the invasion in 2003, so I got out towards the end of 2003. So I've been involved in all different kinds of organizations, and I've had a lot of buddies, in the past 20 years. And it just one by one, I started losing friends and acquaintances to suicide. And I'm, sitting here thinking, like, how the hell do we get this point across? And like, finally figured out a way to say it to where it actually means something to somebody. And what we do on stage, we do this every single night with this song, is, we basically say, like, hey, we're going to speak to all of our veteran brothers and sisters in here in the crowd tonight. We believe that it's not our duty to come home if you make it out alive, to come home and get lost in drugs and booze and for us to take our own lives. Like, our brothers didn't die for us to come back and do that. They died for us to come back and pursue happiness to the best of our ability, to pursue freedom to the best of our ability, and really and live our best life, because that's why we put a uniform on, is because we're protectors, right? We want to protect this thing called freedom, this idea. And
we all said
it's our mission. Yeah, it's our mission from here on out. We live every single day to live for the ones that don't get to anymore.
Yeah.
And I think that, like, if you make that your mission, all of a sudden you're not doing it for yourself anymore. Like, okay, yeah, I could kill myself, but like, that ain't gonna work. Like, that ain't gonna work for my buddies that are waiting on the other side. They're gonna be pissed at me.
Yeah.
Like, what they're gonna do, dude, you need to go out there and freaking live your best life and pursue this life that we have. And that's the message that we really try to push with War Hippies.
That's a really hard, I just had a brother take his life last year. And
sorry about that.
Yeah, and a lot of it is, I always said that it was the VA cocktail that does a lot of the damage.
Doesn't help.
It doesn't help at all.
Yeah,
and it's your support. A lot of people go in and they get married young, and then they think this woman is everything. They have kids with her and everything, and after your third deployment, she's done.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? She doesn't want to be there for another deployment. You're talking about, you're about to hit your 10-year and you're going to continue on career. When she leaves you, that's your heart gone. Yeah. And then you're already on this medication.
Right.
Yeah. She's already out. She's checked out. So, like, when you come home and your family is dead, where's your life at? Yeah. So a lot of us will turn to drugs and turn to the alcohol because that's the only thing that is going to understand. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So when I'm sitting here and I'm having a drink and I'm like, I know that this bottle understands what I'm going through. This bottle's going to make me feel good. This thing's going to have me to where, and it gets past the point of the gentleman's drink. And then if I'm sitting here mixing my pills with it, I'm not in the right state of mind. I'm not, and then there's depression. That comes in like a train. That's going to come in. You got your meds mixed in, and you're so chemically imbalanced at this point in time, and it's already past midnight. The
devil's cocktail, man.
Yeah, it's going to come over you, man. And
a lot of us don't even know that we're on it.
No,
I didn't even know that we were on it. At one point, I took what was prescribed from the VA, and I go to civilian doctors, and they'd be like, "Why are you on 3 different painkillers?" Yeah. And it's like, wait a minute, what do you mean? They're like, "Yeah, you're on 2 different physical meds, and then you're on Valium." Tramadol and Percocet were the other 2. They're like, why are you on that? And I was like, I don't know.
Because they just give it to you.
Right. So it's like, it does what it's told.
It's a failed system.
Because you have to walk that balance. Getting out, I spent 2.5 years in the WTV on Fort Riley. And, at a time when the Wounded Warrior transition was not good. Yeah. It was terrible. I had 7 suicides my first 2 months there. 100% accountability every weekend. Yeah. That's like I said, a lot of us don't even know we're on it.
Yeah.
And we're hitting a state now to where, the pills have already done their damage, and we've been out so long at this point. It's
you don't know what's actually going on.
Right. So a lot you turn to drinking and stuff because you're like the pills just just not working, or you stepped it up so far where you're on heroin, and we got veteran brothers on the streets.
Yeah. I was working with a young Marine. He was a mentor of mine. He was his son, and I've known this kid. He went to Afghanistan, and he was LAR like Scott, and just had a real hard time. And I got to link up with him. After he got back years later. I'm substantially older than he is, and I went over and visited him, and he's just tell me how hard of a time he's having and all this stuff, and just how he just didn't have anybody to talk to, and he just didn't have a good family structure, which is huge support. And I said, well, what are you taking, man? And I go over to his mom's house. He opens up his medicine cabinet. He had 33 medications prescribed to him from the VA.
I believe it.
Some of which.
How old was he?
He was 30.
Fuck.
Some of which, if you put together, are lethal on their own.
Yes.
And he goes, I've never seen the same doctor twice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's.
I mean, it's just unbelievable. It's just such a terrible. And then you start to then you start mixing that with alcohol.
Yeah.
And all these other things, and who knows what's going through your mind.
Yeah.
What did Jelly say? What's this switch? I'm only one drink away from the devil. I'm only one drink away from God.
Yeah.
It's just like that whole.
It's that thin
balance.
line.
It's that thin line.
It's
and
that
you
thin
mix all those drugs in there, and you think it's coming from someone who's trying to help you,
but it's not.
They're just trying to get you. Their workload is too much.
Yeah.
And they're trying to get you off their plate, and they're just like, man, I don't know what's wrong with you. Here's some dope. We can fix it.
Yeah.
And we were never taught balance. It was go all the way or no way. So it's like ourselves trying to find a balance with our own medications, our own mental health problems.
I want the big one.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Because that's a socially acceptable thing, especially in the military.
Right.
Yeah. I could be like, all my medications wouldn't even think about it because it's legit. Right. So all the medications that I'm getting, I'm allowed to eat. These are what they want me to take.
This came from the doctor.
Yeah, so
I trust the doctor.
So these are my everydays, right? But if I'm out with you tonight, I'm like, bro, let's go kill this whole bottle.
Yeah.
Well, I'm mixing that shit with alcohol. So then we got a lot of times we think it's a suicide, but in the same token, they just killed themselves without even knowing it.
Serotonin syndrome is a big thing because a lot of the meds that you get prescribed messes with serotonin.
Yeah.
So you get out and you're having a good time, and you maybe step outside of what you're supposed to, and mix with something that elevates your serotonin, chemically. Mix that with what you're already on, and man, it's a terrible thing.
And they're prescribing these like very powerful antipsychotics, things that you give to highly delusional, paranoid schizophrenics.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they're giving these to just somebody who's like, hey man, I'm just having a hard time sleeping. I just need to talk to somebody.
Yeah.
Here's some, you're crazy now.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's just like, it's like, no, I'm not.
Yeah. Going through the med board process.
I don't need schizophrenic medication.
Oh, they'll cut your disability off too if you stop taking their medication. If you stop taking their medication, a lot of people.
I went through.
Yeah, for sure. And that's how me and him became friends through the VA. And we both just left a meeting at the VA. I quit. I was fucking, you guys, what is wrong with you people? And and that was the kicker. I'm like, damn, dude, I'm eligible for 100+. And they're like, yeah, look, we'll go through this. I'm like, cool. So I got the 100%, the whole 9. And then they're like, we need you to take these classes, right? And then I'm going into these classes with people that are just drooling on themselves for their narcotics. And they're like, we want you to smell this lavender. And we want you to touch this ball. And I'm like, what are we doing here? You know what I'm saying? Like, what is the process? Like, and they're like, no, well, this is working through your PTSD. I'm like, no, what's working through my PTSD is like talking about what I have going on because I have a hard time expressing my feelings.
We were a big experimental.
Yeah, but this is what they were doing. They had like all these different jars. I'm dead ass in Johnson City. They had all these different jars, and they had like different smells in each one of them, right? And then they're like, I can't remember what they were doing. I forgot what it was called, but it was a sense. It was a sense thing. And then like the 5th time I came in, they were still doing that same stuff. And like the people that were in there were like, oh, I'm just doing this for my check. You know what I'm saying? I'm part of this for the check. And I'm like, cool. And I'm like, well, medications they give you. and they're like, oh, I got Roxy's and Percocets, and they're excited about all the stuff that they're getting. And I'm like, dude, those are hardcore narcotics. I just want to let you know. He's like, yeah, I know, man. I've been having to snort these things. And I'm like, you know what's next, right? You just throwing this out there. You do this for another 5 years, I'm going to tell you what's next. You're going to be doing fucking heroin, fentanyl, and shooting it. Yeah. That's what's next. And
meanwhile, we got a Vietnam brother that's sitting in the corner that gets way overlooked.
Yeah.
That could use some of that because they're of that generation who could use that kind of pain meds. But
my Uncle Tony did 2 tours in Vietnam, in Marine Corps Infantry. And he, his second tour, he stepped on a landmine. Didn't lose he was in a rice paddy. Didn't lose his leg. But it blew the back half of his right leg off of his calf.
Yeah.
And then, back off of his... and he had just other injuries.
Those are some clean ass boots, though. I will
say.
Thank you.
Those are the pythons.
Yeah.
And so, but
no, he struggle with it.
He took I'm not kidding you. It took 30 years for him to get full disability.
That's a whole nother conversation.
I got people that have never deployed with 100% for PTSD.
Failed out of basic.
Real shit. Yeah. You get 100%
it's going to be up to our generation
PTSD
of military to help them because they made sure back in the day that we came through and we never got treated wrong. They made sure that there would never be another generation that got spat on and treated. So they were there on redeployments and deployments. All the Vietnam veterans showing support. And now they're getting to the age where we're losing them, and it's going to be up to us. Mm-hmm. It's going to be up to our generation to step up and be like, "Whoa, wait, we can't forget about these guys either." You know what I mean? That we need to help them too. We're good. We're learning how to process our stuff, but then we still leave it behind a whole generation of people that, practically raised us.
Go ahead. I was just saying. I mean, that's why it's. We're out here doing the War Hippies thing, man. They see us out there, and Scott got these powerful songs, and they see that, and we get these messages, and he'll affirm this, from people, and they just come up, man, like it's like the light at the end of the tunnel. Mm-hmm. They can see. They're like, man, these guys.
They get it.
These are just a couple poor kids who happen to have some music in them, who are doing it up on the big stage.
Found an avenue to make a difference.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it is really cool because, even that little moment in the show is 5 minutes long. Mm-hmm. But, like, the amount of response that we get from it, and just people coming up and go, like, I just never thought about it like that before. Like, just making people think something different because, like, we can line all of us up and slap us all in the face, right? And might have a different reaction. But, like, sometimes it's something simple that they hadn't thought of before. They said, I'm gonna change my shit today.
Yeah.
Like, I get it now. Like, I didn't get it before, and it's a super easy concept. Mm-hmm. But, like, going back to, like, even, like, with the VA stuff, it's so hard. Like, I mean, my experience, I got out in 2003 after the invasion, and I moved down to Texas to pursue music at the time. I'm originally from Colorado, and a bunch of my friends in the Marine Corps from Texas, and so I ended up going down there, and I went into the Houston VA, and I was there for probably 4 or 5 hours, and just seeing, like, the Vietnam guys and the Korean guys, and it was just like these dudes were being herded like cattle. Mm-hmm. And it was like a number and I just stood there and I was looking around me and I got so disgusted with it. I took all my paperwork and I ripped it up, threw it in the trash, and I didn't go back for like 15 years. Mm-hmm. Like, never went to the VA. The only reason I went back to the VA is because I shattered my kneecap, and I sat with it for like 5 days, shattered, trying to call if I could get surgery from anywhere else but the VA, and the cheapest I could find was $15,000, and I couldn't afford it. And so my wife was like,
just sell my house.
Right? My wife was like, I'm taking you to the VA. Like, I literally, my kneecap was busted in 5 places, and I sat in a bed with it like that, and I said, I'm not going to the VA. Fuck 'em. And
that's a Marine.
Right. Right. But it took me 17 years to get to end up through that whole process, and then having to go through the process again to, like, and I've got a 70%, and I was in the fucking invasion. Like, I did, like, it was a Wild West. We were in gunfights every day.
Were you at First Meth or anything?
Yeah.
I was 03, 04 initial invasion. We were first.
You get 10?
I get a whole 10%.
Oh shit!
We stopped
you get that light bill money.
That was our place.
Okay.
On the roll,
I could dig it. They gave me 10 for my hearing.
That's it. That's what I got. I got 10 for my hearing.
Yeah, I got 10 for my
hearing. See, I don't got anything for my hearing.
I get 10 for my head. I get 10 for my hearing loss, and everything else. They just, I don't really put a lot of effort into it because it aggravates them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it really is.
It aggravates the piss out of me.
They give me a 10% enhancement. They give me a 10% for my hearing, and then I get 50 for my back.
Yeah, see, I don't have any, catastrophic, but but the physical stuff, I was very lucky in that capacity.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, me too.
Super.
I mean, we don't, I was in Iraq in 2004.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
See, I was in Iraq in 2009. I don't even tell people about it. I tell people about my Afghanistan experience. Afghanistan was 9 days, but I don't even tell people about Iraq. I'm like, I went there, I helped pack up a Connex for like 30 days. I had green beans. I went to the gym every morning. Like, I got my PT score up.
He's down Air John.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's crazy because I'm like the next generation. Like the people after me, when I was graduating, they were implementing stress cards.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So, like, not the direct cycle after me, but they had, like, a date. And they're like, starting July 1st, stress cards come out. And I'm like, what are those? Like, is that where he beat me again? I accidentally pointed my gun at the drill sergeant picking it up, and he fucked me up.
Oh, man.
And on accident, because we were in the range, and I'm new to this.
Really?
I'm like super new to this. So like they're all coming down off the range, and I went directly back to go adjust my sights because I was like, okay, bet. Okay, cool. I went directly back to go adjust it. When you go back, you have to stand there and wait.
Up and down range,
yeah, up and down range. So like I was picking the gun up right as he was about as far as from you. So I like picked it up, and then he saw the barrel, he saw me, and then he saw my head. So
and that's the one time, like, it doesn't even matter. That's the one time they're allowed to smoke.
Yeah. Oh, they tell you.
No, they tell you. He physically fucked me up.
Oh yeah, smoke. They're allowed to. They're allowed to straight up smoke.
You flagged for that, and I'm gonna beat you.
Yep, that was bad. I mean, but they gave Purple Hearts out to the guys. So Kandahar Airfield, right? We got mortars. One of them clipped the girls' shower, and all the girls got knocked out in the shower. Right? I super volunteered to come help. They wouldn't let me. I was all for it. I was trying to help. I was being the good Samaritan as I was, but they wouldn't let me. I don't know why.
Wearing a CLS bag and everything.
Yeah.
CLS and boxers.
Well, the dudes come out of the shower, and they're like, "What's going on?" Right? And I like ran over from the chow hall because it was our unit, and I ran over to the chow hall, and it happened, and I went and asked the dudes, and the dudes went in to go report what they had. They wanted an AAR because they all got Purple Hearts for it. Because the girls got knocked out. They were like, "We're in the shower next to them. We got hurt too."
Oh.
And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, you guys are gonna get sent home right now. You do understand that a Purple Heart signature, you going home." You know what I'm saying? They sent them boys home, and they're fresh there. They all got Purple Hearts. Got to kick it on the go back and be old Garrison.
You actually caught Scott. Scott will tell you this story. And I'm gonna preface it for him to show you Scott is 100% Marine through and through. He literally caught shrapnel in a gun battle, and they were gonna put him in for. But what'd you say to him?
I said, if you write that up, Doc, I'm gonna beat the shit out of you.
Because guys were losing their legs.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I was at.
I literally an RPG.
That's exactly where I was at.
An RPG hit right next to our vehicle. And I didn't even realize it later, but until later. But I had just a couple little. I mean, I got hurt worse riding my bike when I was a child.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. It was just picking out, and Doc was checking on everybody. He's like, "All right, man, I'll get that written up." I said, "Get written up for what?" He's like, "Man, that's a Purple Heart." I was like, "Doc, you write that up?
Yeah,
we're gonna have an issue."
Yeah,
I was like, dude. An A-10 Warthog just freaking split open an AAV at the beginning of Battle of Nasiriyah and lost 23 Marines, and I'm like, those
I got
guys.
A boo-boo.
Yeah, I got a boo-boo.
Yeah,
I fell out of the Humvee.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
But it's true.
What we learned later on though was TBI. we were tough in them explosions until few years later, and you can't remember your math problems and stuff. That's been a whole other
I'm telling
story.
you. And then mix it with cannabis, and you just ain't remember shit. Oh my goodness, I don't remember nothing that I do. I'll forget mid-sentence. I'll be like, what are we doing? Like, I forgot we were on a podcast like 4 times already.
And this is my first. Oh, you're not talking about.
That means it's going to be a good podcast.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, right? No, we've had some shows canceled off YouTube. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I'll edit it out, but one of them was like, we were talking with DJ Paul, like we were talking about a Ford. And dude said, yeah, the freaking tranny went out. And I was like, well, that's gay as fuck. Tranny and gay in the same sentence, it canceled my show.
Oh, really?
I was like, we were talking about a
transmission, right? You know that, right?
Like an actual transmission, yeah.
We used to call those trannies.
Yeah, yeah, we call them trannies. Yeah. But I said that was gay as fuck, right?
So,
and I was like,
so
that's not at all what I meant with it.
So we probably shouldn't refer to what we use to refuel the vehicles then.
Yeah.
You guys remember that one tonight.
Oh, the gas. Oh, yeah. Oh, dude, that's just way too funny. No, I mean, the way that America's going now, we see a lot more artists out, but a lot more artists are really like feelings. You know what I'm saying? And I've always been told for the longest time, fucking show your feelings. Dude. Your feelings are invalid. They don't mean nothing. Work harder. You know what I'm saying? Drink water.
Sure.
Yeah, I tell the kids all the time. They'll be like, Dad, I'm bleeding. I'm like, hatch it and drink water, dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, what? Is it broken?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, we'll drink more water.
When you're older, I'll hand you the ibuprofen.
Yeah, when you're old enough, I'll hook you up with an IV.
Spray some Windex on it.
Yeah, spray some Windex on it. No, man, these kids are out here drinking that Windex. You can't make it. Right. They were like, I'm gonna make some gasoline with this. You got a Tide Pod?
I saw that you Tide Pods. That does not make any sense to me.
No, the best one I've seen was the Dew Shine. They're mixing gasoline with Mountain Dew and calling it Dew Shine.
And they're drinking it?
It was killing them. Killing the shit out of them.
Of course,
that's
gasoline.
a Tennessee thing. Yeah.
Mountain Dew will kill you just drinking.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Don't say it too loud. We're in the home of Mountain Dew. Dude, people
already edit that one out.
Yeah.
Don't say anything about Mountain Dew or Dylan Hurt.
Yeah. Oh, God.
They just identify as someone without stomach lining.
Yes, that's what I identify. I always say I identify as the, she, and it for the shit. I think it's super funny. You know, shout out to everybody that's doing whatever the fuck they want to do. Just don't bring it to my house. I don't care what people do. I've never cared what people do. Like, if you're gay, awesome. You got a different meaning for gay than I do. You know, half my friends are fags. They're all into chicks, but they're fags. And it's got nothing to do with homosexuality.
He never lost the army humor. He still has the army sense of humor.
That's another thing people don't understand. Like the way that we like communicate. The community is so vulgar.
Yeah.
And if they're like, what is wrong with you guys?
Oh yeah.
I'm like, what do you mean? That's not even like, I'm not even mad. We're not even mad at each other.
Yeah. Oh, Dave comes over, grab me a beer, you piece of shit. It's like, hey, fuck you. Yeah, your mom said that. Yeah. And that means that, dude, I like you, bro. Thank you. Like, you're a really good guy, and I'd appreciate it if you grabbed me a beer.
We're basically the ones that taught our kids rage at video games because, you know, like, we're paying dividends of that now when they seen us chucking our Xbox controllers playing Halo. Yeah. But now when the Xbox controllers are $100, you know, games are a different issue. You know, you hear them yelling at their friends, and it's like, well, the ones that go to the military, you know, they'll already have the vernacular down. They'll be talking shit right from the jump. Be like, dude, it's embarrassing what we say.
My wife wasn't with me when I was in the military, and when I first got out, I pretty much just kind of like checked out of military stuff. Like, had a couple buddies, but I really wasn't involved, and there wasn't a whole lot of communities back then like that.
No, we really just split up.
And
everybody just went.
When we got married, and then when I kind of started really getting back into the military community and veterans, my wife was like, afterwards, like, she was like, "Who are you? Who are you? Like, I've been married to you for X. I've never heard you like talk like that or be like that." And I'm like,
"Why are you so aggressive?"
It's just, so that's just how we are, man. Like, it's like we get back.
If you only heard the stories,
yeah, you can be like all business, but then you get around freaking 2 or 3 of your freaking military buddies.
You start wrestling.
And you're
someone's
like
getting choked out.
I told my wife the other day, I'm like, I'm pretty sure like Marines are like the gayest straight people I've ever met. I was like, dude, we
do remember the name tape on the back pocket phase.
Dude, I used to always say that the military is the biggest gay joke in the world.
Oh, yeah.
All the time. Like, they had the community showers. So every time I walk in, I'd be like, make a hole, especially you.
Yeah, he still makes it weird.
Still making it weird, though, yeah. I walked up to Seth today and I grabbed his hand. I said, don't make this weird, bro. He's like, dude, this is very weird.
These young kids.
It'll all pass through.
Man. It's funny because they don't know what to do. They just look at it like,
God. The only thing I didn't do was the nut tapping thing.
Yeah, no,
I couldn't. I was not into that. I was like, bro, you do understand if you touch me, I'm gonna fucking hit you.
Yeah,
boy, different.
That's how it was,
people got into that though. I remember the whole China. I mean, people would just
dude,
devastate each other.
I have 5 kids. You know what I'm saying? They could have stopped that. Right. You know, I didn't want that to be stopped. Right. No, fuck that.
Yeah, that was a problem.
Mm-hmm. That was. Yeah. No, I think this new generation we got coming in, we just really have to buckle down. You know what I'm saying? And I believe that our older generation that was trying to do the same to us. You know, they have this old saying that says, you never know that your parents were right until you have a kid that thinks that you're wrong.
Yeah.
Right? Because by the time you realize, damn, Dad, you were trying to guide me the right way. I apologize. Your kid's like, fuck you. You don't know what you're talking about. And I'm like, I do, though.
And the cycle starts over.
Well, the biggest thing right now is that they just have to know that anything we're trying to say or anybody who's combating anything that's being harmful to them, it's coming from a place of love. Right. Mm-hmm. And they don't understand that because they're constantly at battle with this, just, you know, social media and everything just pummels hatred and division and the news cycles and all these things just pummel all this stuff at them all the time, and they think anybody who has a different opinion than they do hates them.
Yeah.
Or you know, and it's like, no, that's not the case at all. That's just that's fire. Don't touch it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I mean, it's true.
I'm not trying to be a jerk.
Don't jump in.
Just don't do that. That's. I mean, I did it. It's not. You know.
It's evolving into a whole new generation. Yeah. Like there's things that this new generation can do already. You know, my wife's 7-year-old, he whips me at video games. Like, how does a 7-year-old? I was always unstoppable at video games. You couldn't give me nothing. We show up with Kirby, or we show up with, a fighting game or whatever, and he tears me up because he's been so in tune to video games. Mm-hmm. You know, he stays on it so much. So when
and it's just natural.
And it's like I can't even keep up. I don't want to keep up.
Yeah, dude, look at
so
kids
they're evolving. Yeah,
like my child, I have one that's 2, right? And we have to fully limit screen time. You know, because and I noticed that from the very beginning that is something about that light. You know what I'm saying? So I would be over here on my phone, and she's being held at 6 months old, staring at the phone. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And you could put on Miss Rachel Cocomelon or something like that, and you get full babysitting. Yep. You know what I'm saying? Like if Miss Rachel got paid for babysitting, she'd be a billionaire. You know, because you know how much she babysits? Yeah. And I go to people's houses, and they're just like the kids just on the tablet. Do all day long. Yeah. And I'm like, you know, you got to cut that, right? And they're like, yeah, it entertains her. I said, no, but that's bad. Mm-hmm. And I don't exactly know why it's bad. That's the kill.
Well, because they can insert any kind of propaganda into that. They can. Our kids are getting influenced by a young age because they're being babysitted. We don't know what's being taught. We're not sitting there with them the whole time they're on that tablet watching that show, and so they're being taught things. And I think it's came in over time. It's why we've had so much of an issue with the newer generations. It's just because they've been taught things through their car. I mean, they got so much more advanced now. They're not even really cartoons. We're watching Tom and Jerry smash each other.
Well, you're right though, but it's come in so slowly, but for a long time. Mm-hmm. And like I was sitting there watching, I can't remember what movie it was, like one of the cartoon bird movies or whatever, with my kids, and I was watching the family dichotomy of the dad and the mom and all the little baby kid birds and everything, and the dad was like this little like pudgy, nerdy, like glasses wearing screw up. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I just was watching this and I was like, and I started thinking about other shows and other movies and how many like father figures they've turned into like this like demasculine role.
Yes.
Of like, and then the mom comes in and she's like the super trooper, like saves the day, and the mom is the leader of the pack, and and I'm like, dude, this has been like, since when did they start like making the father figure? Yeah.
When did we leave Love and Marriage?
The wimp.
Meet
dude that freaking,
I can.
They started with
remember Love and Marriage with Peg and Al Bundy. He was. That was a brutal show on women. He treated Peg like go fix his.
That was our generation. He was also we call that the Al Bundy syndrome.
Yeah.
He was like Uncle Rico.
Yeah, right.
Exactly. Throw this football over the mountains. He was he didn't actually accomplish anything. He was a loser. But like I can pinpoint the time when they started making the man weak, and it was when air conditioning came out.
Okay, explain.
I'm just kidding.
Oh.
So then
sounds like I love AC.
Like I heard a comedian one time, and he's like, back in the wilderness, it'd be like, summer, dead of winter, or whatever. Hey, we're gonna go out and get these. We're gonna go out and hunt this bear. We got some things to do. Blah blah blah. And I'm not saying that wasn't that there weren't women that would go out in the pack.
I've seen this.
But then he goes, and it's like, you know what? You go ahead. I'll be here with the kids. I'm gonna tend the fire and I'll make sure there's a hot meal when we get back. And then all of a sudden he goes, and all of a sudden air conditioning comes out and y'all got real lit.
Next you want an office.
And don't take that. I hope nobody takes that the wrong way. It's a joke. I empower women to do amazing things.
Of course.
Women are just as good as we are, if not better.
And a lot of times smarter.
Oh, definitely
but
smart.
we are the Neanderthals. And we definitely should not be painted as weak.
Right.
Yes, that is the truth.
That's not healthy.
I still have concrete on my knuckles from dragging on the wall.
It's not healthy.
Yeah.
And I don't want my wife laying concrete unless she absolutely really wants to, but I don't think she does.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But that is the next generation. So you get a lot of people speaking of concrete. So you go and talk to any of these contractors around here, they can't get people to work.
Yeah.
You get the older generation that is coming out to work, but you can't get none of these new guys to work. 19, 18. Do you know what? If I was 18 again or 17 again and someone's like, I got $20 an hour, I need you to come work. I am busting my ass 14 hours a day. That's $280 a fucking day. Run that.
Yep.
That's rich money at 18 years old.
Yeah.
You can go buy a fucking Corvette.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Somebody would have paid me that much money when I got $7 down under the table and I had Abercrombie & Fitch. I thought I was.
That was one of the first things. That was one of the first things I mailed back from my first deployment. Online down at the little, mailed myself back some nice clothes from Abercrombie. You know what I mean? Just because. It was funny because there was a shirt that said it's all relevant to West Virginia. They discontinued the shirt, but anyway, it was a big deal. Come back from deployment and have that bit of money.
I got a buddy of mine that down in Houston, he had a big HVAC company that did all like the hospitals and stuff. And a few years ago, he told me, he said, he goes, I will take you at 18 years old, I'll put you through school, I'll pay for it.
Yeah.
And then you will start off at my company making 6 figures a year. And he goes, I cannot get people to work for me.
No.
Can't get them to come work. He's like, they all want to be the boss. They want to be the manager. And I'm like, I said, he goes, can you imagine when you were 18 years old if I offered you a 6-figure salary? I was like, I wouldn't even, I would have think, I just won the lottery.
I would have changed positions wholeheartedly.
Single, no kids, not married.
Oh, I already had kids by 18.
No, but I mean, what if somebody gives you 6 figures?
I can imagine
it. Never made 6 figures.
Right.
No.
My dad raised us off like $40,000 a year. My mom didn't work. And every once in a while he'd get a bonus.
Yeah.
We
called those taxes.
Yeah.
That's when we get the Nintendo.
Yeah.
It's overpaid.
Yeah, that's all it is. But also nowadays too, right? We got a lot of everybody's judgmental. So you have to have certain clothes, you have to drive certain things, you have to be a certain appearance, right? 90% of the time, you'll come and see me and Dave, we scrubbed out. We made this shirt.
We literally have clothes that we've worn since the military.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Half
We'll
my
laugh about
wardrobe
all
is still, we laugh about it all the time. Half my wardrobe is still from the military. Oh, I got burn holes in half my stuff, all jacked up shoes. My wife will go and buy me a new pair of shoes, right? My fucking wife hates this shit, but it's whatever. She goes and buys me a nice pair of shoes. The first thing I do is go to work in them. I'm like, Dave, let's go hit the field. We'll be out here working in the field, this, that, and the other, and I come back and they're just trash. She's like, baby, what the fuck? I spent $100 on those. I know they're the most comfortable shoes. I love them so much.
They're great to work.
Right.
Yeah, they're so great to work. And she's like, what the hell? I'm like, babe, I work. You know what I'm saying? Like, my favorite thing to do in life is work.
That's true.
You know,
this dude runs more than
nonstop.
any I've ever met.
I love it. I mean, this is what I like to do because I'm going to die right at the end of this. And if I don't push forth the effort to do something productive, then I'm just a POS.
And how can you not back that 100%? How can you not just back that?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I don't want to have
What'd
regrets.
you do with everything I gave you?
Yeah.
You want to have that conversation.
Yeah.
Right.
Dude, about an airplane. What the fuck?
That's
You know what I'm
awesome.
saying?
You're gonna teach me how to fly it.
Dude, I'm still
Oh
learning.
my goodness.
Holy shit. Yeah. I took him up.
Yeah, he's actually pretty good.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun.
I'm decent at it, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I got to flew from Carolina all the way over here and touched down, and I was like, okay, I could kind of get this down. I could do a little steep turn.
I'll tell you what, man. There's nothing like it the first time, like getting that experience. The first time I ever flew, I was out in Colorado, and this he was a dude, like ex-Air Force, flew all kinds of different planes, and he had this plane, and he's like, man, I'd love to take you up. And so he took me up, and we were going through all like the canyons and dipping out and coming up. And I'm like, dude, this is so awesome. And we get up over like where Grand Junction is. It's a big valley. And he's like, you want to take it? And I was like, no, man, I'm good, dude. Like, I don't. And he's like, no, man, here, I'll
do
walk
it.
you through it. And so as soon as I took over, and I like freaking,
baby step in.
baby step in, and I'm like, and so he had me fly this thing for like 45 minutes, and I'm like, dude, this is killer. He goes, all right, let's take it in for a landing. And I was like, I ain't landing this. He goes, I got you, dude.
Yeah.
So we're coming down. He goes, at any point you feel uncomfortable, to say
Your
aircraft, and I'll take it over. And so I'm going down, and I'm looking. He goes, all right, see those lights? You're gonna line up right there. He's like, all right, keep it right there. And I'm getting closer and closer and closer. And I look at him. I said, dude, I'm not feeling this, man. Your aircraft. He's like, no, you got it. And I was like, but you said. He's like,
we already talked about this.
But you said. He's like, no, you got it. And so I'm freaking going down, and I'm like freaking out because I got a buddy and his dad in the back too, and I hit, and we touched ground. And he's working like the foot stuff that he had going on. I don't know what
the rudders and brakes.
Yeah. And so we hit. And he's like, all right, now we're going to take off again, and you're going to take off. This is where I got hooked. This is where it got me.
Oh, yeah.
Is when we were on the ground, and he's like, all right, we're going to go, pick up speed. He's like, all right, just real gently, start pulling back on it. And I pulled back, and when I pulled back from the ground to the air and went up, I was like, that was freaking awesome. That's when I never got it out of my system.
Yeah.
I'm like, I have to do this one day.
Yeah, that's exactly where I was at.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the first time, my instructor, he's a dick. So, super cool guy, but man, I've yelled at him and cussed at him so many times. Because he'll be like...
He's prior service too. So.
Yeah, he gets military too.
Yeah, he gets a full tilt.
Oh, he'll shut the plane off on you. He'll be like, all right, where are we landing? And I'm like, what? And he'll go bang, and he'll smack the yoke, and the whole plane will turn, and then he'll go, "Rrr," and then we're dropping. Oh, shit. He's like, where are we landing, buddy? And I'm like, oh, fuck, shit. Freaking out. My hair's just sticking out. Dave's in the back seat like, where are we landing, Ace?
Hey, will you answer,
Glad
man?
you got this, buddy.
Will you answer, man?
Where are we landing?
Somebody, anybody.
Yeah. And he does it every flight. So now I'm like, okay, all right, we're doing, all right, let me, airspeed, all right, fucking motions of training, fuck, I forgot everything.
Right.
Yeah.
But I'm getting it down now, so it's getting a little bit better. But he would do that on my first flight.
Oh my God.
And the first flight, we're falling out of the sky. So you know how we do the my aircraft, your aircraft. I was like, my aircraft, all right, your aircraft, and we do that. Well, the first few times I was locked up on the yoke, right? I'm locked up. And we're turning in to go land, and it's his aircraft.
Yeah.
And he's like, stop fighting me. Stop fighting me, bro. And I'm like, I'm not fighting you, dude. And he's like, fucking put your hands on your lap. I'm like, all right, hands on my lap. Sorry. Sorry. He's like, damn. So he did that like the first 3 flights, right? I couldn't stop fighting him, right? Because I would hold, he's like, and then I'd feel turbulence, and I'm like, he's like, no, dude, stop, Stop fighting me. It's my aircraft. Put your hands in your lap. So one time we're going up, and we're turning base and everything else, and we hit this tree wash over these mountains, and the whole thing goes crazy, right? We get some good turbulence. And I'm fighting the turbulence. And, you know, it's my aircraft. So he's like, hey, bro, stop fighting. So I'm like, oh, my bad. So I put my hands on my lap. But it was still my aircraft. So I put my hands on my lap. Well, here we go. Then we start falling. Right? We're coming straight out of the sky. Right? He's looking at me. And I'm like looking at him with the side. But I'm looking down. I'm like, bro, we're falling. And he goes, what are you doing? And I'm like, I'm not fucking fighting you. You know what I'm saying? I'm not fighting you at all. He's like, no, it's your aircraft, Bubba. I said, stop fighting the turbulence. Not fighting me, it's your aircraft. I'm like, oh shit! We're just falling. I was like, damn. And it's like, I wasn't gonna. We were still like 7,000 feet up, so he wasn't gonna let me just keep falling. But he was teaching me some shit.
You should hear them both tell a story.
That's the kind of teacher that I want, you know. And I want him to scare the shit out of me because as he's continuously scared me, right? Now when we go on regular flights and I'm doing regular maneuvers, I'm fucking confident.
Train like you fly.
Now I'm training like I can actually fly now. So when we get in, I taxi it up and I take off myself. Woo, and we fly out. He tells me where to go. Yeah, I'm a little slow at the controls, but for sure. Right. But you know, and I'm able to get it and turn and go the hole and get it. And I mean, I flew back from South Carolina. I thought that was pretty cool, you know.
Yeah.
And it was a new plane, and you know, it was a different feeling. You know, everything in the world erases when I'm in the plane, mainly because of fear. But you know, but everything is gone, and I'm not thinking of all the stressors I have and everything that's going on in life. And you know, I think that one of the biggest, just to circle back, that's a big circle. So one of the biggest things that I take away when it comes to music, and it's somebody where you said you have that 5 minutes per the show, right? You only got that 5 minutes, but that changes somebody's perception. Mm-hmm. That changes somebody's thought process because of huge thing is understanding.
Yeah.
It's the fact that when my wife left and I don't have the kids and I'm turning to the booze and the pills and you know after the deployment, nobody's gonna understand me. So when somebody comes out like yourselves and say, hey, I get it. I fucking understand. Right. And there's a way to do this.
Yeah.
It's just like flying a plane. Nobody knows that they can fucking fly until you get up there.
Yeah.
And then you're behind them controls and you're like, this is actually, it was scary at first.
Yeah,
of course it's scary. And there's a lot of stuff that you're going to have to figure out. But once you get that, the sky's the fucking limit, man. Yeah. You're going. And you feel better about everything in life. You feel great. You feel more confident. And it just takes that one person to say, hey, bro, try this out. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I never knew this world existed. I didn't know anything about this. And then you're getting into a whole nother realm of individuals that only want to see you succeed. And to see that, I mean, fuck, you're winning.
Just to have a reason to wake up every day.
Yeah.
A person needs three things: purpose, direction, and motivation.
Yep.
You know what I mean? You find those three things and you'll be just fine. You know, and so it's...
And I think, and that's a perfect way to say it too. Is like the purpose aspect of when you say like your purpose is not necessarily for yourself. Mm-hmm. Your purpose is because we owe it to our brothers and sisters to live our best lives because they don't get to anymore.
Right.
Like you owe it.
Yeah.
That's your purpose. That's your mission from here on out. Start right there, and then you can get the motivation and figure all that stuff out.
Slowly killing yourself is still killing yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you ate up with drugs and stuff, then you're still not doing your brothers any kind of justice.
Yeah.
You're not living your true happiness life.
You're hurting all the people around you that love you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's another thing. And once you start learning that, you know, it's like you got all these people rooting for you.
Right.
Rooting for you to succeed. You know, come on. Yeah. Come with us.
Yeah.
Come to this side.
Yeah.
And on the other hand, when you're stuck in that other seat, though, man, it's dark. You know, you're in a safe, 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 because for whatever reason you have just shut everything down. You know, things start happening out of your control, and you just start going further. And before you know it, you know, you're in a full blown, you know,
spiral.
Yeah, right. And you're not paying attention to anybody around you because you cut everybody off.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, I mean, so you kind of got to be careful with what you know. With how you limit yourself in that aspect.
But influence, man.
Yeah.
Influence is huge.
It's enormous.
It's definitely huge.
And I think that's one thing that's really cool about you know, Donnie and I, we've both been in the music business for a long time. We've had our separate careers. This War Hippies thing was a fluke. Like, it was a total accident. You know, COVID shut us all down with touring and everything, and we kind of met right before that time, and we were just kind of like, dude, let's like do some stuff together. And like, maybe do some songs, put some songs out, do a few shows a year, and then it just kind of like blew up in our faces to where like, okay, well, we're going to take our main projects and they're not going to be our main projects anymore. This is going to turn into the main project. But being able to be somebody of influence in the way that we can, one, whether it be social media or on stage, and not just for military, but just for young people in general, being like, hey, like it's
PTSD
still,
is PTSD. You don't have to have a uniform on to have some kind of like,
and just like giving some sort of like, you know, hey, like if you know, neither one of us grew up with money, you know, I mean, like trailer parks and food stamps over here, you know what I mean, like, but like we're living an American dream, and like we've built it in ourselves, you know, with a lot of really good people around us. But to be that kind of influence of saying, hey, like you can come from here and get to this point. Like there's some of the stuff that we're doing with War Hippies, like people in the industry are going like, how the hell are these guys doing this? And if we can do it, so can you. You know what I mean? It's just like flying. If I can fly, so can you. Like just get in the plane and try it. You know what I mean?
Gotta break it.
Just to give that to people on stage, on social media, and be like a positive influence and role model on young people, and especially like young boys, like, hey, you know, it's all right to be a man. Freaking go out there and throw some damn axes and like do some man shit. You know, like don't listen to everything around you.
Teach them how to skin. Teach them how to skin an animal.
Go fight with your friends. Go build on neighbors' decks with your dad.
Go bleed. Go bleed a little bit. Go learn some lessons the dumb way. Like that's how we've been doing it for thousands of years.
Right. Exactly.
My son just found out about yellow jackets coming up out of the ground.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, go mow the yard.
He found that.
Just get your ass home before the street lights come on.
That's it.
That's what it was.
That's it.
Because that's what the pedophiles.
Life was
come out.
simple. Yeah.
Not anymore. They're out all the time.
You know what I'm saying? No,
You're from Sacramento, so it's a little different. You know, you have vans passing by.
They're like giving each other waves and stuff.
Over here, our guy was in a pickup and toothless. You know what I mean? Over here, that's what.
Well, gentlemen, we got to go show to go rock out.
Yeah,
fucking go have some fun, man. I'm fucking super appreciate you guys coming out.
Yeah, we're glad
anytime
to
we get veterans on, man, I love it. You know what I'm saying?
Hell yeah.
Could I mention Battle Dogs real quick?
Yes.
We're part of our donation for this whole thing. This Battle Dogs is a nonprofit that saved my life in 2016. They're the ones that showed me the VA cocktail. They were just getting off the ground then too. I was in a dark spot. You know, there was a reason I got sent up there.
Yeah.
And man, you know, when they were able to sit down and lay out my medications and get that going, you know, I've been running strong ever since. Everybody hits a hiccup.
Awesome.
I can't lie and sit here and say that life has been just, you know, great. I mean,
But that's
it's
why I
life.
fuck with you so tough.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? I like people who've been through some shit and came out the other side.
Yeah, it's life. You know what I mean? Just enjoy it. You know what I mean? Like he told me when I first met him, there's always a yin to your yang.
Yeah.
If you're in, it doesn't matter which one you're in, it's always going to come back around. So just stay patient. Don't make that that temporary, you know, that long-term decision over a temporary problem.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's truth.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Anyway.
Well, it's been a blessing, youngins.
Absolutely.
Blast.
Hell yeah. War Hippies, mother truckers.